What do you got, pigeons living down here? This thing's crustier than your sister's underwear. We're at a rental property today, and, we're going to get rid of that Boilermate, and we're just going to put a regular standard 40-gallon water heater back in the spot where it used to be. That tank only lasted 10 years, maybe less. And for a rental property, this is more convenient. Now, we got a lot of work to do, so we brought the Superstar along, because I got a lot of shit to bring down in the basement. This just isn't your normal water heater swap. While we're on the topic of Mrs. Monster, we're going to talk about some of the so-called men in the comments section, stroking their orange cats.
Right? No, my glove is stuck. Okay. Dude, that's going to be hilarious. I'm literally curled up in a fucking pretzel and my ass is just like in the air. Don't post that one. Oh my god.
Some people feel the need to talk about Miss Monster's appearance in a negative way. She didn't ask to get put on here. I put her on here. Turns out it made the show a little bit better, but there's always going to be some lowlife that's going to talk about her. Why don't you talk about me, all right? I'm the guy who started the show, and I'm the guy who put her on the show. She didn't ask to get put here. So I wish those guys the worst karma for all their future relationships. And may you live alone in your parents' basement forever and ever. Amen. As you can tell from that short clip, she's got good humor and a great personality. So we're going to show a little bit of everything today. We're doing the water pipe. I'm going to cut the old valve out because it's leaking on the floor. And we're going to put a Vega valve in its place. As you can see, the water is still coming out of the valve. And, we're just going to pro-press that sucker right on and not have to worry about it, boys. I had to send Miss Monster to the supply house. It was 4:30 p.m. and I noticed that I didn't have a half-inch gas cock, so I couldn't get the gas going if she didn't. There she is, and she's back. Gas cock and a relief pipe. Why not, right? So far, she saved me 1 hour of time, plus bringing the stock down. I'd say she saved me about an hour and 30 minutes so far. Here we go, putting the ProPress female adapters on top of the tank. Note to self, always stop by doing the cold and the hot water to a water heater. Not only can you get the cold water on and fill the tank while you keep working, but you won't be able to get those female adapters onto the tank if you do the exhaust first. Well, I mean, you can get them on, just makes it a pain in the ass. Oh, here comes my hand model to start pro-pressing and show you how she twists it in order to get the gun off a little bit easier. See, twist, there it is. She's gonna be a professional one day, but don't tell anybody. As you see, there's a vacuum breaker that we put on the top of our tanks in this state. We don't have to do an expansion tank unless there's a check valve on the system. Other than that, you're just doing a vacuum relief. That way, if the city fire department hooks up into the street, the tank doesn't get sucked in. So now it's time to break down the Boilermate and transfer the lines over to the new water heater. Well, we're just going to cap them here because they just capped them on the other side and we hooked up to the water heater already. I told her that she had to get a little closer with the camera because nobody wants to see my ugly mug. They just want to see the work my hands are doing. Maybe a couple of guys out there might learn a thing or two on how to use your hands. Who knows? Did I mention this is a very long video? So I'm going to do my best. We're onto the Flue pipe. So that one is picking up the water heater to the left of it. And what we're going to do is upsize from 4-inch to 5-inch. We're going to stick a Y in the chimney. So that way we can pick up the new water heater and the old one at the same time. But I did not know I was going to need a 5-inch 90. So here we go. It's past 5 o'clock. Supply house is closed. But luckily the Superstar's with me. I tried to fit this thing and it just wouldn't have been right. So Mrs. Monster went over to Lowe's, picked out a 5-inch 90. I kept going on the gas pipe, and she came back, and I was able to get her done. So there you go. She saved me another hour. So we're at 2 hours and 30 minutes that Mrs. Monster saved me so far. Here we are cutting in a 3/4 by half Mega Press T so we can pick up the new water heater. If you look closely above my left hand, I have white paint marks on the wrong gas line. I almost cut that line above it to put this T in, but then I traced the lines back and noticed that I almost cut into a live line. So good thing I checked twice and I only cut once. Now that the main tie-in's all set, we're going to work down at the bottom at the tank. As you see, I put Teflon tape on all my threads. I really do try to hold them back at least a thread or two so I don't get them inside the pipe. Why do I put Teflon tape on it? Because it's legal in my state. And we once had to look for a gas leak on a 2-inch main, and none of them were Teflon taped. So when we found the leak finally in the school, we ended up Teflon taping the joint, and it didn't leak anymore. So here on out, we use Teflon tape. I know it's not legal in other states, but other states don't bother me because I'm in Massachusetts. And there she is on her phone. She's supposed to be loading up the truck. There she goes. Now she's on her phone and loading up the truck like a typical boss. She's a hustler. Look, she's carrying 4 things at once, 10-footers of pipe. She told me the basement smelled like gas. I didn't believe her. So right before we left, I sprayed everything. I only had Windex, and come to find out, she was right. One of the unions wasn't tightened up. So always spray your joints before you take off for the night. The last thing you want to do is have your insurance go up and have everybody in the house pass out and die. Now, the bird shit tank's out of the house. The water heater's up and running. I got the boiler flushed as well, and that's up and running. Now we gotta just load the truck outside. We're out of here, kid. I gotta stop saying kid, everybody's saying kid. You know what I'm saying, kid? So there it is. Superstar's giving me a hand getting the tank in there, filling the back of the pickup truck, and we're on our way out the door.